Hi folks, Slick Slices here. Now, if you watched my channel yesterday, you'll have seen there's a half-hour video on the new V2 knife from Carl Pearson. This is the short version. I'll try and get this done in under 10 minutes. Comes in a box like this, very snazzy, unnecessary, but snazzy. It's got a cloth, a nice little bag, and some cards and one who sticker, not four of the first one, and a nice little knife sticker, which is quite nice. Get that one out of the way. Right, that was the V1. This is the new one, the V2. So Carl's taken a lot of the lessons that he took from the original V1, which was this one, and he's put them on this. I'll quickly run through what those were that this added, that this has taken, and then there's a couple of extra things. First thing is he gave us a stonewash finish because it was getting a bit snail traily, and that applied to the blade as well. This one has a satin blade, which is I prefer the satin blade, but I do like the stonewash handle because it covers a multitude of sins and allows you to actually carry it in your pocket without fear it's going to get all bashed. Secondly, he went around with the chamfer, got the chamfer fairy to visit it, and he's taken just all the little sharp edges off it, except this one, and that improved things. The original V1 had a titanium clip, which was what's the technical term? Oh yeah, rubbish. Which Carl quickly identified, issued a replacement clip for the first ones, and then the second version and this new one have the steel spring clip rather than a titanium one. What's really changed mostly with this knife is I would say three things. The first thing is these early ones were flippers, and I think there is a potential danger that flippers may at some point in the future become a problem. Watch the long video if you want more explanation on that. They're perfectly legal at the moment, but you know. Second thing that he's changed is that he has looked at the overall design, and this is just a much bolder design with some, I've compared it in the other video to a Rockstead, just in this rather more complicated blade geometry. It's certainly not a Rockstead in terms of quality of delivery, but it's there in terms of design style. He's also given some thought to the handle. Having lost the flipper tab, you no longer have any sort of guard to stop your fingers slipping onto the blade, and this here actually creates a very similar feel to your finger. Obviously it's slightly narrower here than the original one, but overall I think the most important thing is it's taken a bold design, which you can look at it. The old one, you never get offended by the old one, but you could never call it a design icon either. This is a bit more of a radical step, and maybe it's a step too far. I personally think it's a step in the right direction. That's my feeling. And the third major change that he's made is he's added a sharpening trial, and I think that's quite important because one of mine, the second one, has a slight smile that's developed because it doesn't have a sharpening trial. This is just better. This is the way it should be. Criticism. Having gone from the flipper, it's gone to thumb studs. I'm not sure that thumb studs are right, and I think this is an area that Carl is working on. The thumb studs are in a Chris Reeves style, pointed and uncomfortable. Perhaps even worse than a Chris Reeve, but they are adjustable. I've adjusted it to be as close to the handle as possible, mainly because I really just want it out of the way. I don't really like it. You can flick this knife open. I've seen it done. There's a sort of technique you need. I'm the world's worst flipper, so I don't see any point in even bothering to try because I'm not going to get there. I would be inclined to use it as a almost like a nail nick, and just open it like an ordinary folding pocket knife. And I think that probably in the UK is, you know, when you're out the house, that's probably what you should do anyway. working out a way to make your knife flick open will always upset somebody in this country, because we're just a country full of people who want to moan at everybody. That's just the way it is. So I tend, when I'm out and about, to only use, if there's anybody else about, only use a traditional nail nick slip joint knife, and this would substitute for that, but it does have the advantage of having a pocket clip so you can keep it handy, and it is relatively easy to open and close, which is always good for me because of my dodgy fingers. So that's the only thing I would perhaps say against it. Now, what I should say, I should have said it really at the beginning, is that this knife was provided as a loan knife to sample and review. And I have two choices. I can either return it or I can pay for it. And I am pretty much of the view at the moment that I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to keep it because I actually think it's a hit. I think it's a really good attempt. I think I can still see little bits of room for improvement. I think some of the grind machining could be done a little bit more crisply. And the thumb studs have really got to be sorted out. But I think it's a great step in the right direction and a bold step. And if you'd like to see more of my thoughts on this, watch yesterday's video. As I say, it's quite long, but there's a lot more detail in it. Some thoughts about the knife design and why people design relatively simple knives, and they perhaps get a bit more adventurous as they get a bit more maturity in their designs. So I'm wondering, by the time we get to the V10 or the V12 or whatever, what Carl will be coming out with, because I bet you there's more in his mind than, he's moved from, let's say, a straightforward titanium slab and a high saber, but more or less flat ground pointy knife, to something with some real design in it in one step. So from the V1 to the V2, we're already seeing quite a lot from it. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Watch the other video if you want to get more detail. If you like this stuff, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see some of the other stuff I've got coming up, please subscribe and remember to ring the bell if you want notifications. Okie doke. Thank you very much. Bye.